Hey everyone, welcome back to another wrestling review. This time we have the review of Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor, which happened this past Saturday night. With me once again is Campo. Not missed by his absence is Putty. I guess he didn't watch Ring of Honor. Can't watch everything like we
Can't
do.
win them all.
He can't win them all. Like can't like we've been watching. Like Campo and I, we've been inundated with wrestling this past couple weeks due to the fact that we've been literally watching every New Japan show and every. It's a lot. It's a hot wrestling summer.
I'm not going to complain.
No, it's been pretty good actually, and this show was pretty good. Um, Overall, I thought it was a good show, and we'll just get right into the review with the first match, which was surprising, which was the ROH World Heavyweight Championship title match between Claudio Castagnoli, better known to most of you people as Cesaro, against Jonathan Gresham. Jonathan Gresham, my first thoughts, he's really short.
Yeah, it's almost uncomfortable.
Like at one point,
Like
Cesaro was on his knees and he was still taller than him.
it's uncomfortable in the sense that like I don't mean that like being short is bad, but it's like it doesn't. He just feels out of place in no matter what he did, it didn't feel
Yeah,
impactful. Like when he was slapping, Cesaro had to like move towards him. Sorry, I called him Cesaro.
yeah, he had to lean into
Claudio
it.
had to like lean into it because he was so far away because didn't want to have to keep stepping back every single time he had to slap him.
Yeah,
And I mean, he's a good wrestler.
he's good. And he's got some strength to him, boy.
Yeah, they even talked about it. They're like their weightlifting in the gym is almost the same between the
Yeah,
two of them. So, I mean, he's a really good technical wrestler. I will never doubt that. But I
yeah.
feel like it's one of those situations where it's like if you had Rey Mysterio versus Kane every single match, like it's good like for like a quick match, but this
I,
match wasn't really quick either.
no, it was what, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that.
It was actually a good match.
It absolutely was.
Um, I have some issues, so I don't know. You want to talk about it? Go ahead.
Uh, my thought, like he also looked like to me, he looks like a beefed up Kevin Hart because of the height, the stature, and you're still trying to fix that light. Yeah, like I mean, but being at the height disadvantage also gave him. He's a little bit more nimble. He's a little bit quicker than Cesaro. I noticed that too.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, that was an inside joke with the light. But yeah, okay, so Cesaro goes over.
Yeah, he's the new.
Claudio,
He's the
which
new.
I got like for surprisingly for not being a big fan of his. Um, I got a little tingly when he won. Yeah,
That's
it
his
was it
first
was
like heavyweight championship win
it,
ever.
it was pretty exciting, especially when you look at the history of his career and how much Ring of Honor meant to him.
Yeah,
To win the championship is huge.
and once again, another squandered talent from WWE.
Yeah, but this is so on the same note, I just want to say this. At the end of the match,
Mm-hmm.
he was sportsmanlike. I know that's a Ring of Honor thing already, but like
Yeah,
they shook hands, they had a little word with each other. But you could see in Jonathan Gresham's face that like there and it felt real. It's like this guy just came in, uh typical AEW nonsense.
yeah.
WWE guy comes in, wins the title, blah 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 bullshit. And I really felt that way. At
To the
first I
point
was
where
like
after
freaking
after
out.
the match, Jonathan Gresham asked for his release.
Did he?
Yep,
I don't blame him. But it could also have been that they knew he wanted that, and so they took the title from him because of that.
that's true too. It's no secret that he wants to go to Impact to be with his wife.
I mean, and that's fine. Impact could use a ROH doesn't need him in name recognition anymore
Yeah,
because they're going to get so many AEW talents going over there that people are going to know. But also, I mean, he was a good wrestler, but Impact could use guys right now, especially
yeah.
now that the Briscoes are going to be full time in
ROH.
ROH. That's a huge loss for Impact. I don't know if they were officially signed to them, but did a
Yeah,
lot
yes
there.
and no, but I don't even think they were there for a year. I think they just had like a per appearance contract.
Probably, but it was good for Impact, right? And Impact can use that, and I'm happy about that in a sense because I don't want to see Impact go away. I like
Yeah,
them, but it felt like I said when he won the title, it felt really good. I
yeah, it
couldn't
was a
explain
feel
it.
good moment.
I was super happy. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And you're throwing all these titles at Blackpool Combat Club, which is dope.
Yeah,
And then it was like after like a minute or two of it, it set in that like, oh shit, they just literally brought in an ex WWE guy and slapped the title on him again.
like they did with a match later on in the show, which they did the same thing.
So before we even expand on that, just on the CM Punk thing,
Mm-hmm.
Tony Khan clearly isn't a Ring of Honor fan. That's why he bought Ring of Honor. That's why he keeps giving the titles to ex WWE guys who formerly wrestled in Ring of
In Ring of
Honor.
Honor.
And I never
I think
really
with the
noticed that
exception of
until
Mox.
this night.
Mox never wrestled in Ring of Honor.
I think he did, not as like a full time talent, but I think he had like
A few matches here
a
and
few
there.
matches here and there.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but you remember Ring of Honor when it was really small and it
Yeah.
was just like events. It wasn't yet a full program.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But
this is
yeah, it was
not
like you said though. But Cesaro winning the championship, to be honest though, when his theme song played, it took it away. His theme song is horrible. Like
Oh, absolutely.
that 1812 overture is like, no, I don't need that. Like,
But that's his thing. He didn't like wasn't handed that. He's like, this is the song I
what I
want.
want. Oh, anyway. But
I
yeah,
mean,
no, it was a good match.
it was a
Really good
really
match.
weird feeling to get to be both happy and like dissatisfied at the same time.
Yeah.
And to think that Gresham, what he held the title for so long for them
Yeah, it was
through their
the
whole
whole
dying
pandemic.
light.
Yeah.
He was the championship. He was the when they were out of business. He was the championship. The championship.
He
He
would
was the
defend.
champion the
He
whole
was the
time.
he was. He defended it in Japan. He defended it all over the world.
And I think immediately was happy, and then when you think about it, you're like, oh, this is kind of bullshit.
But then again, after, like I said, after the match, it was revealed like through the newswire that Gresham asked for his release. So I think they wanted to. This was the opportunity to take the title off of him. So this way,
and it was the right choice to give it to Claudio. I think it was a smart move. It pays off. If you long time storytelling, it pays off.
It will, yeah, and it will in the long run. But yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. Next match was Dalton Castle and the boys, who have names now: Brandon Tate and Brent Tate.
They're the boys.
The boys defeated the Righteous of Vincent. I think it's Tyler Bateman and Dutch.
Okay, so
Vida Von Starr.
I was never a huge Ring of Honor guy. I do know who Dalton and the boys are because get me a boy, and he just starts whipping them over the thing. Comedy wise, yeah, they're really funny, but and Dalton is a decent wrestler, but like I could care less about the boys couldn't really wrestle, and I don't really care about that. You know what that reminds me of? It's like New Japan, and those are two young lions that just got thrown into a team with him.
Yeah.
But
it's
so I don't know anything
two
about
young lions teaming with Kota Ibushi to win.
Yeah, literally, and that's like well, the other team, the Righteous, whatever. The Righteous, called the Righteous. I've never even heard of them.
The Wyatt family knockoff.
Is that what it was made for?
To me, that's what it's either that or I get Far Cry 5 vibes from them, like with the father and the cult. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun little match. It wasn't the only thing I noticed too was again, it was a size versus speed match. And it's also I don't know, maybe there's more, maybe it's a 6-man tag. They're gonna cross over with AEW. Maybe AEW won't get the 6-man tag, but the Ring of Honor 6-man tag will come across both shows.
No, they're gonna get the 6-man tag.
Yeah, you think so? Okay, that was
because like the rumors that came out were that they want extremely little crossover between the two companies, with only the All Atlantic title being going back and forth.
Okay, so Claudio's going to stay at Ring of Honor, and he's not going to be.
Maybe he's going to go to AEW, but once these titles migrate their way to be going around a Ring of Honor belt like wrestlers, they're not going to go back to AEW. Like you're never going to see someone from Ring of Honor show up on AEW and challenge someone with a title. Maybe
Kind
at
of
a pay-per-view, but not on like TV.
the weekly, kind of like the way they kept NXT and the main roster separate.
Exactly. Same way they keep SmackDown and Raw separate.
Not anymore, they don't.
Not
But
anymore, but they did for
yeah.
a while.
But I mean, it was fun. That one guy on the Righteous Dutch, he kind of reminded me of the Big Boss Man, the way he looks, the
Yeah,
way he
he
wrestles.
jumped over the ropes.
Yeah, the
He
way the
did it.
Big
Actually,
Boss.
he did a tope suicida, I believe. I don't even think
Yes,
he went over the ropes. But
but new champs again. The Dalton Castle and the boys win the.
number one, they shouldn't have won. I'm
No,
just going to be honest. There's
okay.
and number two, this match went way too long for a comedy match. Way too long.
It was 10 minutes. It lasted quite
It
long.
just
Yeah,
kept going. It felt like it was half an hour.
yeah. And then when you watch a 45-minute match later in the night, it didn't feel like it.
I mean, it did, but it was worth it.
Yeah. Next was one of the ones I was really hyped for. Was Wheeler Yuta defending the ROH Pure Championship against Daniel Garcia.
Um, fantastic match.
It was, yeah.
As anyone who knows, from my AEW list, Wheeler Yuta was my honorable mention. And like I've been high on this guy for a while, as you know, and so does Putty.
You've been hyping this guy up for a long time.
Getting better. I couldn't give a shit about him before he got to Blackpool Combat Club, but once he got in my eye line and I started paying attention, I was like, shit, this guy's really good.
And take nothing away from Daniel Garcia.
No, he was great too, and
these two guys are the future of wrestling. Like these guys are going to carry their respective companies over the next 10 whatever years. Like these guys are going to be big stars. If Yuta, I mean, he doesn't have the size just yet, but I could see Yuta eventually making a run for it.
I kind of see them setting up the JAS to separate from Jericho, and all of those guys are primarily going to move to Ring of Honor.
Until the end of this match, I thought that's what was happening. The way Daniel Garcia was acting towards the end of the match, I thought a face turn or like, you know, he's going to get kicked out of the JAS or something. You know what I mean? Like that's what it felt like. And then he just turns around and double birds.
I think you might get a storyline where it's like, oh, because you hate it so much, you're going to go there now forever. We've transferred your contract to Ring of Honor or something.
Yeah.
Because they need some bigger names in Ring of Honor. Yeah. And there's a lot of big names in AEW doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's
and we don't need the Jericho Appreciation Society at all.
No. We just need Jericho.
And you just need Jericho, and you can keep Sammy if you really want.
Yeah, and I even put here, it's good young talent. It was good pure wrestling. Like I understand,
it's a pure title.
Well, that's what I mean, and that's the thing too. Like it was hyped up as like Yuta said, you know, I'm going to use I've been training with Brian, I've been training with Moxley, I've been training with Regal, like, and then in the match to see Daniel Garcia use the Regal stretch on Yuta.
Yeah, he also wore Regal's tights and
the purple tights.
Yeah.
And then Yuta reversed it and put the walls of Jericho on Daniel Garcia.
It was a solid match. I can admit something. I cannot stand. I mean, I love how fast he's able to put on a sharpshooter. It's like I've never seen anything like that.
But the way he holds
it's not a sharpshooter. He's just like holding someone's legs and like leaning back on them. But the speed that he's able to put someone in a sharpshooter is mind blowing. Bret Hart used to take like 4 minutes to get someone in a sharpshooter. This guy's literally like right off the mat into a sharpshooter. I was like, what?
It's like you blink and it's in a shit. Yeah. But it was another fantastic match. Like it was
very good.
It was everything that it was hyped up to be.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for another match on the show, this may have been my match of the night.
Maybe.
But Wheeler Yuta retains because we've already had 2 title changes. I couldn't see another title change right there.
There's no way they were going to give Garcia the belt.
No, they want a good Wheeler Yuta run.
AEW is really pushing him right now.
Yeah.
Like super. He's getting matches constantly. He's wrestling sometimes 3 times a week. He's getting like a dark elevation and then on Dynamite or on Rampage.
Or Rampage, yeah. He's always there. But it was the right decision. Next we had a random match. I think this was thrown in at the last minute, was Roosh versus Dragon Lee.
Excellent fucking match.
Brother versus brother, yeah. So, but it was what can I say? I was surprised they had Roosh back after they said he signed with the AEW and he's part of the
So
the
I
Andrade
think this whole thing is to introduce people to them because they're both going to go to Ring of Honor.
Dragon Lee as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what this match was
Well,
really
Roosh was
was.
always they've always been in Ring of Honor. You think they're
Yes,
going to AEW?
but no, AEW signed Roosh,
Yeah,
not Ring of Honor.
that's what I said. You said Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and I think Ring of Honor. I think they're both going to get moved to Ring of Honor because this is how I see this. He owns both companies
Yeah,
outright.
but Roosh and Dragon Lee were under contract to Ring of Honor.
But didn't Roosh just get signed to come to
AEW.
AEW?
So why would he go back to Ring of Honor, right?
Because I think that was just a thing. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Like,
anyways, it was a great friggin' match.
It was, yeah. It was like your typical like lucha libre Mexican AAA style wrestling match. It was great.
It was really hard hitting, surprisingly, when they're not usually like that.
Yeah, it was.
There was a lot of great apron work.
There was that one. Dragon Lee did that tope suicida, and he looked like a bullet coming through the. He went through the ropes so fast.
They did some really good stuff. It was a solid match. I was very happy with this. These are two really good wrestlers that I had never seen wrestle before.
And
I've seen Roosh on Dynamite.
Yeah. But it was another fun match. Roosh goes over, the brothers hug at the end of the match kind of thing. And it's like, who knows? Maybe Dragon Lee's going back to Japan.
This whole event had a lot of respect.
That's the whole thing, right? The code of honor.
Yeah, but do they ever really observe it?
For the most part, they do.
Especially towards the end of Ring of Honor, it was kind of messy. I feel like that stopped being a focus.
And I think they want to go back to that, though.
Yeah, also, hold on. The announcing.
Rick Iacoboni and Caprice Coleman.
They're so just okay. I don't hate them, and I'd be fine with them being Ring of Honor forever because I'm sure they will be. But I told you there was that rumor the NXT guy is going to come in and be the third person on
Nigel McGuinness there? Or the other one, Mauro Ranallo.
But they're missing something. And I'm not saying this, I don't mean this in a term one of them, they have a speech impediment. But they really had trouble saying things.
Caprice is very new to
both of them had so much trouble saying things. They kept trying to say a word and missing it and missing it and missing it. And it wasn't a stutter. It was I just can't think of the word. And it would go on. And I was like, how
whereas if you look at someone like Kevin Kelly, he's on it.
Well, all of them are. I don't remember the last time I've seen an event where the two guys both had trouble spitting out whatever they were trying to talk about.
Yeah, I think because, like I said, and take nothing away from them because, it
wasn't bad. It just felt weird.
But because I think Caprice is fairly new to commentating, it was throwing Iacoboni off. Maybe
it could be. Iacoboni had a really big problem doing the promos when he was he kept saying the names wrong. I don't know if you noticed it. So just instead of saying Serena Deep, he would say Darina Seeb, and he kept doing that for the whole for every single promo. I was I
mean, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do Excalibur does.
And that's why
this is going to be on Dynamite. No, you got this.
He was trying to do it like Excalibur. That's why. Darina Seeb versus Mercedes Martinez, and I was like, but you know what? It wasn't bad.
No.
I found it really strange that you're watching a pay-per-view, especially one at this big of a level. I know it's Ring of Honor, but
this was their comeback pay-per-view.
This was their biggest pay-per-view they've ever had, I believe, or at least in their top.
In terms of buyout, for sure.
Even the arena, they filled it. That's it's a 7,000 seater. I don't think they've ever had that many people, have they?
No, the biggest I've seen them is in the Ted Reeve Arena.
Which I don't even know what the hell that is. So
it's just on the border of Scarborough and East York.
Never even heard of it.
Maine and Danforth, that area there.
But
Maine and Gerard.
Christopher Reeve Arena. So I mean, it just felt weird that there were so many stumbles in it. I'm not here saying I didn't enjoy it. I actually enjoyed their chemistry was really good. They were very upbeat.
Yeah, they were very positive. I like the dynamic. you know how WWE feels like they have to have one face and one heel announcer. You know what I mean?
Yes,
You
and
don't,
yeah, both of them only sell. That's all they do.
but that's what I mean. Like one sells you on the heel and one sells you on the face, right? That's what they're there for. Michael Cole is there to sell you on the baby face, and Corey Graves is there to sell you on the heel,
On his wife.
right? Whereas Caprice Coleman and Rick yeah, I'm guessing that's his name, Akibono, they're both like telling you about the match. They're storytelling as opposed to like one supporting one guy, one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I like about it. It's like they're telling me a story. They're telling me the history. They're telling me like,
It was a lot of Kevin Kelly-ish stuff with like the history of Ring of Honor. That's why this was
yeah,
happening. And I like that. I liked it. Sorry. I know
yeah,
I took us off the rails there.
that's okay. No, that's what we're here for. Then, as I put in my notes here, it's Mercedes Martinez against Campos' favorite, Serena Deeb.
So I that's funny because I didn't even think you were going to remember, but I have really come to appreciate the skill level of Serena Deeb, but I've
She's shown
also,
a lot more in this match than she did in the Thunder Rosa
but I
match.
need to admit, in like the now 20 matches I've seen with Serena Deeb, she is the most boring wrestler I've ever watched. There is nothing about her that excites me to watch the match. The
She's a good
matches are
wrestler, but
slow
lacks
paced.
charisma.
They're slow paced. There's no big moves. It's like if Zack Sabre Jr. was drinking a beer with one hand and wrestling with the other
Mm-hmm.
in slow motion, is watching Serena Deeb. Like in the end of whatever she's doing, it's a nice hold. But to get there, it's like I'm not strong enough to lift you. I'm waiting, and then Mercedes will push herself over, and you could see the whole thing happening, and then
Yeah.
it happens. She's
It,
very weak. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
like Mercedes Martinez is an absolute monster, and
She is tough and she looks
she
tough.
she held back on her finisher. It looked like she didn't even do anything. It looked like she lightly placed Serena down because she's like, I'm gonna kill her if I fucking throw
Yeah,
her.
I put the same thing. Like it like I said, and it's
Even
like
the crowd was like shocked. Wait, did that just happen? Because she
yeah.
would like so lightly like
And the
place her
thing is
down.
too, this is her second major championship match in like 2 months.
I mean,
Like
no, don't get me wrong. Serena Deeb is so talented.
she
I
is.
just don't buy her against bigger wrestlers. It's the same thing. It's like the Jonathan Gresham thing.
Yeah.
You can't sell me this product because I'm not going to buy it. It's just no matter what you tell me, it doesn't make sense. And I mean, but like some of the stuff they did on the apron again, like Ring of Honor did a lot of apron work.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Like
Yeah.
Serena Deeb did I don't even know, it was like a Hurricane Rana or a reverse Rana
Yeah.
on the
Reverse
thing.
Rana.
Oh my god, it was crazy, and she flew right to the outside.
Yeah, like I mean, she was able to showcase a little bit more in this match than she did in the clearly in the previous match that she had against Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa carried that match,
Yeah,
and
and
it
like
was clear Thunder Rosa.
as talented as she is, there's nothing you could do anymore to make me interested in watching a Serena Deeb match. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
Even like I love Thunder Rosa, but like 90% of her matches are boring as hell. But
yeah,
at least a lot of the moves she's doing feel believable.
yeah.
She
She
looks
looks
like she
legit
has
tough.
power.
Yeah,
You know, like she has strong muscular legs. She looks like she's fucking ripped to shit. You know what I mean? I'm sorry
yeah.
for all the swear.
Whatever. But yeah,
uh,
no, she's like when she hits somebody, it's more believable than say someone like a Serena. Yeah, I can see where you like. I said in our Double or Nothing review, Serena Deeb needs to eat a sandwich or something.
yeah, and it's like the pacing for it too, though. Like her moves, like I said, she'll pull off some crazy submissions back to back to back, Zack Sabre
Mm-hmm.
Jr. style. The problem is it's so slow paced that you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, whereas Zack Sabre Jr. is like submission to submission.
Immediately into another submission, and I mean, this match felt forever.
Yeah,
And I'm not even gonna lie to you.
This is where I started feeling a bit of a lull.
This was my fatigue point, but I immediately got it back after this match.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, it was like it wasn't even a bad match.
No, it wasn't.
It was
but it
just
was
so
the second.
boring.
This was the second long. It was almost 20 minutes. The second longest match on the show.
You know what? To be honest with you, every match in this show felt long. None of them felt short, which
Yeah.
I'm okay with because they didn't bloat the card.
No, they didn't. We even bypassed the 4 matches that they had on the pre-show. I didn't
Which
watch.
to be honest with you, I wouldn't even talk about them. They weren't even worth talking about.
Yeah, like I've always been a fan of Allison Kay, but
I watched the highlights of them, the highlights, not even the match, just the best parts of the match,
yeah,
and it was still bad. I was like, okay, this is the highlights of the match.
yeah. But Mercedes Martinez goes over. Clearly, this was just meant to get like,
I want more of her.
yeah.
I want her versus Thunder Rosa, and I want
And
both
once
titles
again,
on the line.
once again, another NXT squandered talent in Mercedes Martinez.
WWE's crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely crazy.
Next we have another squandered talent in WWE and Samoa Joe against Jay Lethal for the ROH World Television Championship.
Another guy, like, okay, so this match I thought was really good.
I said it had that old school Ring of Honor feel to it.
It did. Jay Lethal is arguably on Raw talent a top 10 wrestler in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't ever fight people where he gets to use the best of his abilities. He's always trying to match the person he's fighting. And like Samoa Joe is not a guy I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight like someone crazy. I don't know. Like I can't even think. Let him fight CM Punk or let him fight Hangman Page. Like why is he fighting?
I'd even watch Samoa Joe versus Jonathan Gresham.
I would watch Samoa Joe versus Jonathan Gresham. I want to see Jay Lethal versus Kenny Omega.
Yes, they're on the same level.
Kenny Omega, I mean, Jay Lethal is so talented. Samoa Joe is just one of those guys that, like Serena Deeb, I never find him interesting. He does the same greatest hits.
Yeah.
He's really slow paced, but this match was like a really good match.
It was, yeah.
He jumped over the ropes a few times. Didn't they go through the table?
Yeah, they went through a table. Yeah.
There was some good spots.
But even and the thing is too, like, you know how sometimes when you have the small guy versus the big guy, it's not like you can't.
I mean, Jay Lethal's not really that small.
No, but I mean he's much smaller than Samoa Joe.
I guess, yeah.
But it's still like when he did those moves, like it felt believable. Like some of those near falls that Lethal had on Joe, I was at some points like, holy shit, he's gonna win.
Yeah. I would like to see Joe versus like
maybe a Miro.
Brody King.
Miro.
Yeah, Miro is a good choice. I forgot
Penta.
to say yeah after you said it. I'd like to see him fight other bigger guys that are agile. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's
someone like you said, Penta or Miro or Brody King or someone like that.
Yeah, that would be nice. But we're way off what we're going.
Yeah.
But I thought I was surprised by this match.
Yeah. I wasn't when they started going through the history of Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal and they showed like that video of like Jay Lethal 18 years old coming to the ring with Samoa Joe. I was like, okay, let's get into this. I had that nostalgic feeling of watching Ring of Honor back in 2007, 2008 again, watching all that, like memories of watching Jay Lethal and Impact when he was doing Little H.
Listen, his impression of Macho Man is crazy. His Ric Flair is amazing too.
Yeah.
He's one of and I love, I don't know if you ever notice it, but even now to this day, everything he does in the ring or on the mic is influenced by Macho Man or Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Like he still talks and has the mannerisms of both of those guys when he does. He just stopped doing the impression.
Yeah. He raises his voice like Ric Flair does when he starts getting.
Yeah, and he does the Macho Man thing where he gets like big in the chest when he's saying words and he puts his hands out.
Yeah,
and it's like
you could see where his influence. He's very much a throwback wrestler with modern elements.
Like I said, I personally think if you're just going off raw absolute talent for like the upper echelon of names, like popular names, like there's probably great wrestlers we don't really talk about. But he's definitely got to be close to top 10 right now that are active. Like his wrestling ability is crazy. He's just so misused always.
Yeah.
Always. Not to mention
5-6 years ago, he had that really great run, like 600 straight days as television champion. Like he had a really good run.
He was just he still is a good wrestler. He's still young. He still
Yeah.
has a lot of time. He's in the prime right now of his career.
Yeah.
And he's about to turn a guy like Satnam Singh into a monster.
Mm-hmm.
He's training Ric Flair for his last match. Like, this is a guy that not only can you expect him to put on a good match, but if you need to train someone that just doesn't have the skill but has like
But the
that
thing is,
they
too, you
have
added another fantastic mouthpiece in Sanjay Dutt, too.
and it's the way they all the three of them work together is great. I'm really happy to see like where can this go. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
like there was one spot towards the end where Joe went for the muscle buster and Jay Lethal reversed it into the lethal injection. I was like, holy shit, how did he do that? Like the way he was able to escape from it
And then
and
he went for a second lethal injection and he got caught.
caught in the coquina clutch. And I think
Yeah.
that's what ended the match. Samoa Joe taps out Jay Lethal in about 12 minutes in the coquina clutch.
And the storytelling in this match was really good because in the beginning you had that whole thing where they weren't even going to let the match start. They were just going to keep it outside the
Yeah.
ring and beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. So it was a good 5-10 minutes almost in the outside of the ring that, and like again, this is what the sixth match of the night, and it's six solid matches too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's been a good show so far. After that, after Samoa Joe wins, we head into the main event of the night, which clearly this had to have been the main event. It was 7-star FTR against the Briscoes in a 2 out of 3 falls for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. Wow, that's all I gotta say. You have probably the greatest tag team ever in Ring of Honor. One of
12
the
times.
one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Going back to that list we did a few weeks ago about the greatest tag teams in AEW, I'm kicking myself right now why I didn't put FTR as the number one.
I wanted to do that list just so I could do that.
And it was, but it's you had, and we did that list right when Jurassic Express were at their peak, right before the split.
Hey, that's why it's a year thing, okay?
Yeah.
But I don't think the split is going to last long. I think they're going to get back together.
Oh yeah, as we saw clearly.
AEW does a lot of weird things. I know this is not about AEW, but they do this weird thing now where they try to split people up and experiment with them, a la Anna Jay and Ty Conti, and see that it's not going to work, and then
so they put them back together. Yeah.
But you created a great heel with Christian out of this, I think.
Yeah.
And
Christian's always been a great heel.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about this match yet. We made a list a long time ago, the best tag teams of all time.
Yep.
Okay. Can I just tell you something in all honesty? I wasn't even watching wrestling then, and we know this. I probably said it in the video.
Yeah.
Now that I'm watching wrestling, I'm going to be honest with you. FTR, the Briscoes, and the Young Bucks would probably all be in my top 5 greatest tag teams of all time.
The Young Bucks did make my list.
But it's like, I didn't even know who the Young Bucks were at that point.
Yeah.
But
and
now I've seen like 200 matches of Young Bucks.
I think that list was about a year ago now.
Yeah, but I would honestly, like, if I had to pick, I'd probably keep Booker T. What were they called? Harlem Heat.
Harlem Heat.
And that's probably all I would keep on my list from that list.
Yeah. Caps would still keep Heart Foundation as number one.
Of course, he would not take them off.
He would not take them off.
You know what? I have trouble seeing Caps putting anyone that's modern on the list, even if they are good.
Yeah, but like I said, though, these are probably two of the greatest tag teams of this generation.
Easily, not questionable. Probably. Okay, well, yeah, the Young Bucks. Okay,
and the Young Bucks. Like, I mean, that's the
Maybe
holy.
The Usos too. The Usos are
are a really good tag team. Yes, I'm not a fan of where they're going right now with the Bloodline, but the Usos, in terms of like an actual tag team unit, they embody what it means to be tag team. Like, they wasted that feud between the Usos and FTR.
They're about to waste a feud between them and Street Profits if they don't hurry up and get this done. So
yeah, but oh my god, when they did that first grapple, the crowd just exploded. Like, this was easily one of the biggest. Like,
this was one of the loudest crowds I've ever heard.
And this was the loudest they've been all night too for this match. They were clearly all waiting for this match. Like it
Yeah.
was like I mean, they were like it was good. It wasn't just like one guy dominates, one guy dominates. It was back and forth. It was a
Yeah.
lot of good back and forth. A lot of they knew they were in for a long night, so they were all trying to wear each other down. You know what I mean? Try to get each other tired for the pin. Like,
See, this is in this match is where the repetitiveness of the announcing kind of got to me.
mm-hmm.
They talked about the busted capillaries on their chests for so long, and every time they stopped talking about it, they immediately just started talking about it. This is something I noticed too. You could tell that both sides were so tired because it got to the point where for like a solid 10-minute span, all they did was slap each other because they
Yeah,
couldn't do anything. They were just so gassed. It was like, and when they would switch out, the two guys on the outside were just lying down on the fucking mat.
resting outside. You got to also remember too, like uh Dax Harwood just came off a shoulder injury too.
Yeah, and I don't know if they kayfabed it here, but he looked like he hurt himself early on.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's the man's a beast though. He'll just power
they're
through
on
everything.
such a heavy duty run, that like an unheard of run that I think he's worried that if he stops now, they're gonna get
They're
everything
gonna
taken
lose
away from him.
momentum.
I thought they were gonna lose when Wheeler got hit by the bell, which by the way, Cash Wheeler is a great name.
Yes,
They should eventually pair Cash Wheeler with Wheeler Yuta and call them the
the steel
Wheeling and
wheels,
Dealing or something.
wheeling and
Yeah,
dealing.
Wheeling and Dealing. Anyways,
But yeah,
when Jay hit him with
but who
the
knows?
J
We may be
driver,
getting that. Spoiler for the
possible.
end.
But
But
they hit him with the J driver towards the end after the second fall,
yeah,
and there was no Cash was out of the ring,
yeah,
and I was like, it's over, it's over. I'm like,
yeah.
holy shit, they lost the belt.
But then there's the ref bump.
Okay, so can we talk about the ref bump?
Sure.
It's the only note I wrote down.
Really?
He was not only 4 feet away from trying to punch Mark or Jay, but he also had to like run across the ring to hit the ref, who
Yeah.
also bladed. Just
Yes.
want to point that
I
out.
even put in my notes that ref bump was unnecessary.
It in the match storytelling was awesome because the
Yes.
Briscoes won the match 6, 7, 8,
8,
9,
9,
10, and you
10.
were like, whoa.
And I said that cost them their second pin.
Yeah. But then Jay hit him with the driver again when he was in the ring, the ref, and it was only a 2 count.
Yeah. And that's when they
And then they
reversed
hit him
it,
with the
the
what's it
big rig,
called? No, they hit the Briscoes hit them with the
doomsday device.
Doomsday device, and then Cash broke it up. And I
Yeah.
was like, holy crap. This match was intense. Like I
And
said.
it says this is the first time anybody has ever kicked out of FTR's finisher.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Nobody's ever kicked out of the big rig. So when Mark kicked out, or was it Jay that kicked out of it? Like the crowd just popped huge.
Yeah, it was an excellent match.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like you said, it was probably the match of the year.
Yeah.
Period. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably one of the greatest tag team matches of all time.
Yeah.
Like I really
I would
do
agree
think
to
so.
that. I
Like
would really,
if you're
really agree
willing
to
to
that.
say it's the match of the year, then I
Yeah.
think it could fall into one of the great because it was like
It's rare
epic
that a tag team
storytelling
match can be a match of the year.
and and it was 100% built on a New Japan style storyline where it's slow in the beginning, nothing's really
It
happening, and it
builds
keeps
up.
picking up. Then everybody's dead. Then everyone comes back to life, and then everybody's dead. Then finisher, 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 and it's like
Yes. The
you sold
crowd
me.
and the crowd, like, especially like, I mean, this show was less than 2 hours. So the crowd was still into it. They were still like, you know what I mean? And you're getting chants of like fight forever. This is wrestling. They were chanting FTR. Like
Yeah,
they were
Ring of
like,
the ROH. Like
yeah.
there was a lot of great stuff here. Like I said, in this year, this was probably the loudest crowd I heard,
Mm-hmm.
minus when everyone sang Minoru Suzuki's line.
Kaze Ninare.
Um, but that was a really loud event. But this was like such an intimate space and so loud that for
It
this year,
echoes
this is
more.
probably it. But like even in just watching wrestling recently, the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I can recall being this loud is when I watched Kenny Omega versus Naito at the G1 climax in the finals, and everyone was like Naito. It was like so
Yeah,
loud in there that like Putty was talking to me and I couldn't even hear what he was saying.
that's
Like,
good.
yeah, it is. But I mean, like, this was a really
It
live
was a
crowd.
hot crowd, a really hot crowd. I mean that the finish, like it was picture perfect. It was like storybook ending. Like I don't know what else to say about this match. Like I cannot go out of your way to everybody who's watching is go out of your way to watch this match,
I
whether
would.
it's spoiled for you or not.
No, it's worth
FTR
it.
after getting pinned for the first part of the match, FTR comes back. They win the next two. They retain the titles. They show that sign of respect at the end. They hug each other.
Okay, but can I say that? I don't think that was not scripted,
No,
and Briscoes did not want to do that. You could see that they came in the ring like that was obviously kind of kayfabe where they were
yeah,
pretending they didn't want to go in, but they shook hands. And then FTR didn't want them to leave; they wanted them to stay. And they're like, "Fuck you guys! You just took our titles." Like,
yeah,
well, I don't want to hang out with you. Like you could see there was genuinely like a moment of like, we don't want to be your friends. Like what we respect what you've done, but we're not
yeah.
trying to be friends with you. And they
But
just left.
but it was like I mean it was still a fantastic show. Like Dax Harwood, he's becoming a great little promo too now.
They both are. They both have this intensity.
Yeah,
And I mean,
I'm
fight like
sure
an
he I'm
8-year-old
sure
girl.
he got fined for all his cuss words at the end of at the end of
Well,
the
look
show.
pay-per-view.
He'll still get fined.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he will, but he doesn't care. But
Everyone was bleeding. It was a great match.
oh, it was like I
The
said,
ref bladed. Like, let's
like the
go.
ref.
Let's go.
But yeah, like I said, this to me, it's in contention for match of the year. There's very few matches right now that are in contention, but this is high up on that
Oh
list.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what other good things I can say about this match. Then just before they go off the air, you have Cesaro and Wheeler Yuta come out with Steven Regal, and they kind of just like all nod their heads at each other with that show of respect, maybe teasing FTR in the Blackpool Combat Club.
No, I don't think they'll do that. They're already too big. I think that maybe you're gonna get a tag team with Cesaro and I keep saying
Wheel
Cesaro with Wheeler and
Claudio.
Claudio.
Okay.
Because if you had to make them into tag teams, I know there's a match coming this week. I think it's with Moxley and Yuta,
Yes.
or that just happened. I don't remember. But oh yeah, I was on the other last week. But
Rampage. Yeah.
I think that he would be with Brian
Hmm.
Danielson, sorry, and Moxley and him, and then it would be Yuta and Claudio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brian Danielson right now has no belt, and most likely Mox will lose it to CM Punk.
They're not going to let Moxley keep it. This is once again the I just so in love with you character thing that Tony Khan is doing because
Yeah.
we all know that if Kenny Omega was here, Kenny Omega would have that belt.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Which they'll probably build Kenny Omega versus CM Punk
It's going to
eventually.
happen and he's going to take it. There's no way Kenny Omega is coming back from this
and
long injury and not going to win the title.
not win the championship back. I agree with that. Yeah, with that. So most likely you'll see Mox and Brian split off into the tag team division, probably challenge FTR.
I think FTR needs to win. This is the weird part to me because you slap the titles on Swerve in our glory.
Yeah.
What a terrible fucking name.
Great team, terrible name.
Yeah, and so is his song. Keith Lee's song is so bad.
Nah.
But I feel like this is a feel good moment for everybody. So how do you take the titles for them to give it to FTR? But I feel like you have to give it to FTR before AAA or New Japan decides they're going to take those titles.
I have a feeling that the Young Bucks are going to win the titles back from them. I think they're scheduled to face them in a rematch, aren't they?
As we know, the Young Bucks are like, well, it's because they're part owners of the company, but they're like the world's greatest transitional champions. Like that's what they specialize in, putting people over.
Yeah, and
like
I
they
think
really sell the product.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. And I think they're going to win the belts back. And we're finally going to get that long-awaited FTR versus Young Bucks
Yeah, because no matches are announced for
All Out.
All Out, right?
Not yet.
So maybe there's a three-way match
I
between the
think
Young
I think
Bucks.
the one they're anticipating, because it's in Chicago again. They haven't announced it yet, but depending on how long it'll be before Punk comes back, they might do Punk versus Mox at All Out.
I'll watch.
Yeah,
I'll watch that.
yeah. But yeah, and that was the end of the show. Really solid show. I'm glad we watched it to review it, and I'm just glad I watched it in general.
Yeah, you know what? It was kind of weird at first that I felt like I was like pushing you into watching it, but as like the cards slowly came out, you were like, okay, yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna
I mean,
definitely watch this.
it's not. I would have watched it eventually down the
Yeah,
road,
yeah,
kind of like what I did with Slammiversary. Like I eventually watched it. It was a good show, but it's not something like it wasn't a point because Ring of Honor has been kind of on that downward trend for so long. When they announced some of these matches, I'm like, okay, let's see what AEW can do with control, with ownership and control of Ring of Honor, and they put on a fantastic show. They had the elements of AEW with a little bit of New Japan thrown in there. You could see all the influences that have brought together the show that was presented to us, I
yeah,
guess.
absolutely.
On a rating, what would you give this out of 10? And then what was your match of the
Okay,
night?
can you go first because I'm really on the fence about it, and I like give me a second just to think
Yeah.
about it.
To me, this was one of the better pay-per-views of the year. I'm gonna go really high on this one. I'm gonna go about 7.8 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 7.7.
Okay. So you're
I
high on
just
this one too.
I just think like I was hovering in the 7.5 area, but then the FTR match was really good, and so was like all the good matches were good.
Yeah.
Even the bad matches were good. Um, it was tight. It ended quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But it just the Dalton and the boys match
Yeah.
and the Serena Deeb match was so boring, even though it was a good match. It's like I feel like I can't give them. You know what? I'll give it a 7.8. Let's just tie it up. We'll
Let's
tie it
tie it
up.
up. Okay.
Let's tie it up. And
Okay.
we already know we don't even need to talk about best match, worst match. So
It was definitely like, I mean, take your pick, either the Wheeler Yuta or the FTR match. For me,
it
it's
was
the
FTR. It's got to be
Yeah, it
FTR, and the
has to
worst
be.
match is definitely the Dalton and the boys.
Yeah. You really over Serena and Martinez?
Yeah, that was actually a good match. It was just
Yeah.
really boring.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with you. It's not like I don't like yeah,
I
that
think the Dalton match had funny moments, but it was never a good
yeah.
match.
Like I mean, it was one of those matches added to the at the last minute, and I don't think we really needed
Yeah,
it.
they had to have a full on Ring of Honor match. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, no. Well, yeah, if you really think about it, yeah. There's really nobody. Yeah, everybody was like an AEW versus Ring of Honor talent. There was even a AEW versus AEW match. But yeah, it was a fantastic show. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'm excited for what the future holds for Ring of Honor now. I'm excited for like maybe once a year or something like that we can do a
Definitely,
cross brand promotion or something like that between AEW, or
I think so.
have
AEW
like a
has
three brand promotion with AEW,
no.
Ring of Honor, and New Japan.
You don't. This is what you do. You have so you only have four PPVs for AEW. You add one in now, Ring of Honor versus AEW. Then you also have AEW versus New Japan. So now you have six. Do you know what I mean? Once you cross all three, then you're eliminating the chance to make more money
True.
when you put them all into one. Because then you can also do Ring of Honor versus New Japan as a separate pay per view to get people to watch Ring of Honor. That's how
Yeah,
I think of it.
that's true too. And then in those matches, you can sprinkle outside elements like the
Or you do Ring of Honor and AEW versus New Japan and Impact, and you make them like team up or something. You know what I mean?
yeah, like that would be good too. Like,
Every match is a tag team match with a guy you don't know. You have to tag
you know
team with.
what? Every match is an 8-man tag match.
There you
Two
go.
New Japan guys, two ROH guys, two Impact guys, and
I'll
two
take it. I'll watch that.
yeah.
That's very New Japan of you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, let me sign
We're
this
gonna
one off.
sure.
All right, guys. If you like this, let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe. And top guys, out.